Milwaukee, the city of go-getters, talented artists, and of course, beer and cheese. Today, we check out some of the most hardworking, talented people. This is Very Talented Milwaukee. Welcome everyone. I'm your host Nick Calvache, and this is Very Talented Milwaukee, a 30-minute special on various people with amazing talents. Today, we'll see the stories of inspiring artists and local professionals practicing their crafts in their respective industries. Up first, the talented and inspiring musician Patrick Burton discusses his admiration for the genre of rhythm and blues, but before that, the MATC teacher Crash goes over his experience with teaching audio engineering here on VTM.
Unknowing of his talent as a teacher, this instructor has dedicated his efforts into preparing his students for the audio industry. His name is Crash.
I got this job because I came back to MATC to finish the degree that I never finished back when I was young, because I started working in live audio and dropped out of school. I hope that my students retain the skills that it takes to do audio in the live environment. The live environment is a lot more dynamic and a lot more demanding than like a studio environment. You don't get to rewind, you don't get to do a second take. You got to get it right the first time, or at least get it right enough that the audience doesn't notice. And I hope that if they ever are in a position where they need to step up to a mixing board and make a show happen, they're confident that they can at least do a good job. I started being an audio engineer in 2000. I love live music, is why I chose this career path. I've always loved going to shows, loved seeing shows. I love sound systems. Sound systems are really interesting to me. They're really challenging, but in a way I enjoy. And when I found out you could do this for money, I never thought about doing anything else. And I've worked with other crews where maybe I'd meet somebody in the spring and we'd work together on and off, and then by the end of summer I run into them and they're a seasoned pro. And that feels great, but it's especially great to do it in this environment, because in this environment I'm more embedded with the students. I work with them more hours and in more detail, and it gives me more of an opportunity to mentor them in their craft, not just teach them how to do one thing or the other.
With his years of experience being a crew chief for professional productions, Crash understands the fundamentals of what it takes to be the best. With hard work and dedication, he believes in encouraging the students to go and learn more skills to advance them towards their goals and dreams.
What advice would I give if they were into this is study electronics, study your math, and study computers. That will help you in life in general, with the way that I can't imagine the 21st century is going to be less about computers or less about math. Those job skills will help you do anything, but especially something technical like audio engineering.
I tend to lean towards jazz and blues. Once you get bit by those bugs, can't really get away. Also really into Latin music, country, pretty much anything with instruments. I'm a full-time line cook. I just got a new job where I'm doing breakfast 7 to 2 and then I practice at night. It's difficult at times, you know, you need your sleep, you need quality time with your loved ones, but, you know, chasing this dream is something that's really important, so there's always time to practice and go out and gig, get experience.
Patrick is a student in the music occupation program at MATC. With a proclivity for hard work, he knows he must push past his boundaries to make time for his family, work, and his goals for his future.
I hope to be an educator in music and also studio recording artist, gigging musician. All those things are important to me, and that way I can balance time with family and just working on this craft. Well, I've always had a proclivity to music. You know, it makes you dance, makes you feel good. There's a song for every emotion, and everyone's gone through the same things in life. So I just think it's my time to help carry the torch for rhythm and blues, jazz music, everything. So just being a part of the history of it is really special to me. Just finding time to practice. I don't think many people know how hard musicians work. Bare minimum, you need 4 hours a day, you know, working on techniques, studying your music, getting super in tune with every intricacy in the music, working with other musicians, egos, spending time with family, your loved ones. Music is also a fuel for me to do all those things, but also it's always pulling me back, you know, so I would say all we have is time, so it's just spending it wisely. I first started playing guitar in 2019. My brother had started playing a short time before me, and he showed me some videos of Stevie Ray Vaughan at his El Macambo set in Canada. And not only is the footage amazing, but the music and his performance, it really inspired me to finally pick up the guitar and give it a shot. Just the way he played, it really spoke to me, the way he sings. You know, it was a perfect time in my life to pick something like that up. First lesson would be the only thing that matters is that you have people around you that love you and you stay true to them and make good decisions for them. The second lesson would be practice makes perfect, and Rome wasn't built in a day. So.
Such an amazing group of artists. I would love to one day see Patrick in a live performance, and Crash, nothing more than a great mentor in both life and the craft he truly enjoys. Speaking of joy, next up, we smell what's in the kitchen as we hear from student Destiny Virgil and Chef Adam as they talk about the dreams and hard work that's put into becoming a chef.
To be a culinary instructor, you must first work hard, have patience for others, be a leader, and of course, love food. No one knows that better than culinary instructor Chef Adams.
So I didn't always envision myself on the path of education. I went to college, didn't know what I wanted to do, got out. I knew I liked cooking, but wasn't really sure. So then I went to culinary school, and that's how I kind of got into the industry. And while I was at culinary school, which I went to here at MATC, a couple instructors, you know, they didn't necessarily say you should do it, but they kind of they told me their stories and how they got into it, and then that kind of put a little seed in my mind that perhaps someday I'd want to teach in the culinary arts, and that's kind of when I first thought about it, but wasn't necessarily serious about it. So I didn't always know that I wanted to be in education. Yeah. Things that my teachers kind of engraved in me in culinary school was that in this industry you kind of have to be an advocate for yourself and your own skills. A lot of times you can get stuck in a role that you're doing a good job at, but nobody notices because you're taking care of your business. And so in order to promote yourself, in order to advance yourself, you have to really kind of, I would say, advocate for yourself and your own skills, whether that be by, talking to the person in charge or seeking employment elsewhere where they're going to give you that opportunity. And that was instilled in me by my chefs here when I went to MATC culinary here, and I've tried to pass that along to my students as well.
Chef Adams loves the art of culinary and believes students who inspire to be great spend time learning and even more time honing your skills to be a successful chef.
It's a great feeling to be able to inspire students to be creative and to challenge themselves, especially, in culinary school. A lot of the students come in and they don't have a lot of confidence. So to give them those skills and encourage them with those skills, it's really fulfilling to see them succeed and then also see them take it to the next level on their own. The industry is a very diverse industry, so you gotta like people, and you gotta like people that are different than yourself. And I love to learn about different people, their stories, their backgrounds, so that's really inspiring. And it happens here with the students that we have too. They represent the diversity of the industry as well, so it's nice to meet new students all the time and hear about their stories and what their dreams are, and that's really what's inspiring.
Keeping the teachings of Chef Adams close to her heart, culinary student Destiny Virgil takes the challenge head on with only one goal in her mind: success.
School is one of the most important things to me. It's one of the most important things and the best thing that has happened to me. I've dreamed about being a chef since I was 8 years old, which is when I first started cooking. My mom always made sure all her kids knew how to cook, so that's just, a basic necessity. But when it came to holidays, that's what we did, and that's how we spent our time together. So we didn't have much, but to come together and make a meal together just meant the world. It was one of the most important things. My program is like learning a lot of different hands-on skills and techniques, that I can take out into the world, as well as learning the different cuisines, and it's just really liberating, but it's a very fun experience. Cooking being an art is, of course, you have the visual aspect and all the different colors and everything that just make your eyes pop. But for me, it's the balance of flavors. And I think that's what makes me a great chef. Just knowing what is going to take the balance and having that pop. I always like to have that wow factor. So the art is in the balance of flavors and just that wow, that's the art of it for me. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I do 10-hour days. And then having, the responsibilities, just that time, as well as, being on your feet, it can be physically demanding. The inspiration that they give me is they definitely let me know that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn and make mistakes and use that time in school to make those mistakes. And just being confident and just seeing things through and believing in myself, then things normally work out. And then the great thing about culinary is it don't have to be precise. So you can improvise and still turn out a great dish. So I would say just keep on going.
Destiny believes her failures are positive learning experiences, and whatever comes her way, she has support ready to help her in any way, shape, or form.
I would say having support from my family or from anyone, it doesn't even have to be from my family, is so important because it does give me that extra push and that motivation to keep going on the days, when it gets tough. And honestly, for, the people that support me, that make it possible to be a business owner, to do my own thing. And I just couldn't be more grateful. One thing I would say to myself a year ago is just, you have no idea. because I think people overestimate what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what what can get done in that year. So I'm nowhere near who I was a year ago. So just be patient and just enjoy the journey and not just the destination. So I would say you have no idea and enjoy the journey.
Wow, I love the dedication that's put into going toward their goals. Our next group of very talented people get down and hands-on as we take a look into the world of animation with award-winning animator Tim Decker and aspiring animation student Aaron Meyer.
I never thought I'd be in education, taking that path to education. I was always growing up drawing cartoons, and really I was focused on becoming an animator in Hollywood, one way or another. I hope they become better artists, number one. And I hope they believe in themselves and their styles, and I want to see them go for it. I want to see them take a run at making a career. That's what I really want, and I want them to know that you have to pick yourself up every time you get knocked down. It's persistence and determination that make a career.
Being taught by Tim Decker it's always an interesting, every time you walk into that class, it's going to be interesting. It's very entertaining at times. He is very passionate about what he does, and it is infectious. And when it comes down to it, it's a lot of fun, and I very much enjoy his classes. Something to always keep in mind, and something I had to learn kind of the hard way with my journey through the animation program is it's a lot of work. It's not doodling on your textbook in the middle of class. We're spending quite a few hours a day drawing frame by frame or tweaking things in 3D. It's a lot of work, and it's so worth it for me.
I've been drawing since second or first grade, and then that's all I've ever done. I drew all the time. I've drawn and painted and did things like that all my life. So basically all my life I've been trying to create. My brother-in-law took me to see Bambi, and he said, Timmy, people get paid to do that. And I'm like, no. Really? To draw cartoons? He goes, yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm on that road. I think my career really helped me grow because I went through a lot of stipulations, a lot of trials, and a lot of errors. And so during that career, I learned a lot about myself, and I improved with each job. So I think it really helped me get ready to teach in animation with my students at MATC and at UWM and at Columbia. I really think it helped me see there's all kinds of different approaches and solutions. There's not one way.
When I'm struggling and feeling like I'm not good enough, I always have to remind myself that one of the coolest things about art is that it's a never-ending journey. And I always look back at my stuff that I made back when I was 12, and I imagine what that 12-year-old me would think of what I'm creating now. And I know that she would be absolutely awestruck. And so when I'm struggling, I remember how far I've come.
I think it's a wonderful thing to do, and I try to inspire my kids. I try to inspire all my students to do good things, and I try to get them to get ignited about creating. And I think it's important that they'll always be able to create and at least give some form of self-expression. And I think being an artist is number one. And some of the faculty might argue that with me, saying we're not an art school, we're a technical school. But when it comes down to it, we're all artists, we're all creative, we all have creative solutions, we have creative problem solving. So I really think being an artist is one of the most important parts of your life.
Something I'd say to the dreamers is to not stop. There wouldn't be any innovation if it wasn't for big dreams. That's how we keep moving forward, is by having these outlandish ideas. It's not impossible in that I will reach those big dreams, whether it's telling these crazy stories through my work or getting to a point in my life that I want to reach. I know that's possible and I'll get there.
Art or animation, I would say believe in yourself, work at it. You only get better the more you do. And you know, I could say that till I'm blue in the cheeks. And I think a lot of students should spend time just sketching quickly, you know, and drawing, and just immerse yourself into it. You know, you can be afraid to touch paint, but once you touch it a few times, it's a lot of fun. I draw with a ballpoint pen because I never have to sharpen it. I don't have to worry about it going dull, and I can always just keep drawing. And I can't, you know, I don't have to stop because my pencil broke or the lead's broke. But I experimented with things. Just try. You know, if you want to try pottery, try it. I mean, pottery's hard. I mean, but go for it. Go for all the arts. Try it. You know, if you have a question in your mind, I would tell young people, if you think you want to try it, go try it. Go get your answers. There's no reason not to. And there's going to be a million no's. I mean, there's going to be a lot of times you're going to get the door shut in your face. But you have to pick yourself up and keep going.
Those two have such amazing personalities, and the artistry of Mr. Decker is nothing short of amazing. Our next talent is Mr. Daniel Burkholder, a chairman of the dance program at UWM.
With the passion for dance, Daniel has faced many challenges to become great at what he does, but none the more challenging than being an instructor.
I didn't always think of myself being an educator within the university context. I had taught at private dance studios, I had taught at high schools, even younger elementary and middle school situations. And so I've always thought of dancing or teaching dance as something that I did and would continue to do, but I didn't always imagine it in a university setting. I think the main thing that I hope the students retain when they are a student at the UWM Department of Dance and they get they get a degree, whether it's a major or a minor or even our graduate students, is to be curious. Curious about yourself, curious about the world, curious about the community that you're involved in, that you live in, and then how does their art practice support that curiosity, bring that curiosity into life for the communities that they live and interact with.
Daniel pushes the students to work hard, believe in oneself, and with lots of practice, he doesn't hesitate to put his own sweat, blood, and tears into the students' future.
To work with students, to challenge them, to hopefully inspire them, or to teach them how to inspire themselves is really the best part of this job. You know, as chair of the dance department, I have to do lots of things that aren't fun. I have to look at budgets, I have to go to lots of meetings, and I have to respond to email, like copious amounts of emails. But when I can go in the studio and work with the students, whether we're in a dance technique class where we're working on becoming better dancers, whether it's in a choreography class where I'm teaching them how to make their own dances, or whether we're in the studio making dances together, dances that I'm leading, like to see those moments of recognition of when they recognize that their understanding of dance and even of who they are a little bigger than what they previously realized is so inspiring. And I think all of us are bigger, are more interesting, are more profound, have more to share than any of us realize.
Well, that concludes the show for today. I want to thank all the talented people who joined us. And a big thank you, of course, to the audience at home. It's because of you that we are able to represent these gifted citizens of Milwaukee, and for students at MATC to create content for viewers like yourself to enjoy at home. I have been your host, Nick Helvace, and this has been Very Talented Milwaukee.